year. I'm hoping we are all online. We've got some viewers on. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us and all the audio's working. Always the rough chance that I've done something wrong. Me and computers don't really mix. But yeah, I've already found one problem in the intro. It is season 5, not season 4. So after something that started off as a bit of shits and giggles through COVID, we've gone for 5 seasons now and accomplished a hell of a lot. So I'm looking forward to another season and some big announcements coming up. I do have a guest on tonight, which I'll introduce in a moment, but I'll do all the housekeeping first. I'm still waiting to see if any comments come through. There we go. We've got one from Marcus. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget, we also haven't got our little scrolly thing across the bottom. I'm still working on that. The app has actually changed, so I will need. G'day, Fish on. Yes, Harry will be back on, mate. He's on later on. Postcodes. We will be doing postcode. So tonight we've got a Jig Pro set of jigs for the postcode prize. All you have to do to win that prize itself is put your postcode in, so we know where you are watching from. We've got a few on now, so that's good. And we've also got a second Jig Pro set and some super slick plastics for questions. So if you give some questions out and you get drawn into the questions, you'll win that one as well. So some prizes to give away tonight as well. But yeah, a lot of housekeeping to do before we get going. But yeah, just keep whacking your postcodes in. If you've got any questions, whack them in as well. Tonight we've got Braden Schuch on. We're going to talk about the grand final. Of course, last year was at Clarence. Got called up after day one, and Braden was leading, so he was lucky enough to walk away with a $40,000 boat, which was really cool. And that's gone to a friend of the show who's actually bought that off Braden in Timmy's Thin House. So really looking forward to catching up with Tim later on to see how he enjoys the boat. We've got heaps of guests that have agreed to come on again. I'm not going to do a full 25, 30-week season. It's just too hard. I'm going to break them up into sort of 10-week lots. So we'll do 10 weeks, then I'll have a couple of weeks break. We've still got to get to Queensland for ABT double header. And I'm going to have a week off and spend with family up there as well. So I'll be 3 weeks out for that. So there'll be a few little breaks in there. G'day, David. How you going? G'day, Grant. Onslow, there we go. Good to see you on there, Cole, and plenty of people on there. We have the COD Nationals running at the moment. I was unfortunate that I couldn't do the COD Nationals this year. It's running at the moment, so hopefully next week I'll have somebody on from the COD Nationals as well to talk about how that went. It was a bit of a hot day at Yarrawonga today, so it'll be interesting to see how spinnerbait day went for the COD Nationals. Also, another big announcement this year, the Bluefin Fishing Team, which I do my mentors work with, has taken on the ABT Electric Series, sponsored by Mercury Avatar, and they're going to be running that all year. They've got one next weekend, so if you haven't got your name down for the Electric Series, get a hold of them, and they will be able to hook you up in that one as well. Just looking through, I've changed the camera angle, so I'm going to make sure that I can still read the questions, which I can. And yeah, so Electric Series, the Mercury Avatar Electric Series run by the Bluefin Fishing Team. That's going to be really cool. We've got heaps of stuff, as I've said, through my social medias. I'm running a camera all year through the good, the bad, and the ugly, whether I catch fish or I don't, or whether I pole well, but you'll be able to get my view on the whole ABT Bass series as it goes. So g'day Sue, g'day Christy, good to see you on, Luke. Awesome. Don't forget, postcodes. Whack your postcodes in to win a postcode prize. And work questions later on for Braden. Somebody will win a prize as well for that. But I better get him on and have a bit of a chat. It's been a while since I've had Braden on, and a lot's changed in his role, so we want to talk about that as well. But I better get him on the screen and have a quick chat. G'day, mate. How you going?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good. We've got plenty of people on, so that's good. I wasn't expecting such a such good viewing first night up. It was a bit of a tough one, but we got to catch up down at Victoria and had a bit of a chat. And you said you'd be able to come on and we'll go over some stuff. How have you been since the last time you've been on the show? For all the viewers out there, you've been flying along, changed roles. We talked before the show, but you've changed roles with Daiwa, and you've moved up the ladder a little bit.
Yeah. So I think, oh God, last time I was on the show, we would have been in full lockdown mode. I think I was sitting at the front there, and Tom was here, and everything like that. And so that's been a bit of a change, I guess, change of scenery to be able to get back out after COVID and everything. So that's good. But so I've made a change at Daiwa. I think when we were talking last, it was kind of just happening or in the works. And I went from the marketing side, so did a lot of content creating and stuff like that for the marketing at Daiwa, and I went over to product development. So I'm under Tom now. He's my boss. And we work really well together, and I look after rods and accessories, so that's tools, apparel, luggage, and stuff like that. And but the important one, rods. So I've joined the team with Tom and Taka Kawasaki. So he does the lures and line and stuff like that. So we're a little 3-man band there, and getting the job done.
Awesome, and it's I suppose not a big team. You'd think that Daiwa, being such a big company, you would be a massive team and all this work going on behind the scenes with hundreds and thousands of people doing lots of work. But it's not really that way, is it? You're a nice little tight group that really powers through doing a lot of I suppose R&D, aren't you?
Yeah, we do. It is just in the R&D team. It is the 3 of us, but everybody at Daiwa, we're all really close. So the marketing team, we merge a lot together and we get out a lot. And the good thing is a lot of the guys fish, so it's not super hard to go and get something tested or to look at something or do anything like that. And a lot of the guys there have that fishing background, so it's really good to lean on all the other knowledge, I guess, that all the other guys have there. With, like, I don't know everything when it comes to a rod, but it's really good because one of the other guys does, so you can just go and lean on everybody. So we're a really good team. It isn't a massive team, I think, all up maybe at Daiwa, including like the sales, the warehouse, the operations stuff. It might only be 40 to 45 people, I think it is, and we're all in the one location. So we've got downstairs being the warehouse and upstairs being the office. So everybody's there, and it works really well. I mean, we're starting to outgrow the office because COVID worked out really well for us and the whole fishing industry in general. So there's a big progressions and stuff like that. But all in all, it's going really well. So
yeah, for sure. Now we're an open show. We love to support everyone, and Daiwa is an awesome product. And I was lucky enough last year to go and see my sponsors, Wilson, and get up to have a look at their factory and the same thing. And one of the biggest things that was an eye-opener for me was how, well, there wasn't a lot of people really doing a massive amount of work. They were there, and there was offices and there was warehouse, and I'm like, man, this blew my mind. You see companies like McDonald's and that, and there is just people everywhere.
Yeah.
And you guys, what I'd really, as a suggestion from me, what I'd love to see one of your videos is to do a behind the scenes, Daiwa behind the scenes. Yeah, a little walkthrough.
Yeah, that wouldn't actually be a bad idea, because it is, I guess, for people, it is very interesting. Like me included, before I went into this role, it was very intriguing with everything. And I guess, to your point, it is very minimalist. Like you expect it to be like people everywhere and doing everything, but it is a very minimalist kind of environment, I guess, when it comes to that. And there aren't a lot of people that get a lot of work done. So
yeah, and we've talked to Tom about this on the show. There's no secrets. Like Tom talked to us about when he designs a rod, it takes a long time to get it to that perfect stage, and all the work that goes behind the scenes is 2, 3, 4 years in the making. It's not an easy, quick process where you just go and grab a blank off the wall, put a couple of eyelets on it, and say, "Here's your new rod."
Yeah, no, that's like that. I can't stress that enough. It is phenomenal the amount of time, effort, and work that goes into creating a series of rods or adding a rod to a range or whatever it might be. I look after a lot of this now, and I've learned so much from Tom. He's given up a lot of his information and a lot of his tasks now to me to be able to take that over. And I was genuinely blown away. Like I always thought like as starting with, I guess my relationship with Daiwa, I started as a sponsored angler, and I remember saying, "Oh, like we should do this rod or this rod," and then like not hearing for months about it, and then you're like, oh, like you must have forgot or whatever's happened. But it genuinely takes that much time, like lead time from factories, like our factories. So we've got factories around the world, and they're all Daiwa factories. So they're actual Daiwa staff that work in these factories, and like the lead times at factories is phenomenal. Like I work every day with it, and it's just unbelievable for you to send off like a data sheet of a rod. So you've got a series of rods. You send that off. We do all cosmetics in house as well. So Tom and myself will sit down, go through. For instance, let's say there's a new surf rod coming. So we're gonna revamp a new surf rod. So we've got 8 models. So we go through all of those. We talk to key anglers and key dealers about if any models need to change, if any updates need to happen, if any actions need to change, all of that type of stuff. By the time you just collate that data, it takes a while, and then you make it. We do all cosmetics in house, so we use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. So we go through and do all the cosmetics ourselves, send it to the factory. They get back to us, back and forth, and it literally takes a good year to have an idea to a rod. So like we get samples. So we go through like action samples, which are just blank graphite rods with very basic, like the reel seats are just glued on, but even like the EVA is still loose and stuff like that because you're just checking the action. The bindings are only just wound on once for the guides, and then we go to cosmetic samples and then final samples and everything in between. It's a phenomenal amount of time to get something over the line.
And that's where we, as I suppose, supporters of any products, when we go out and we buy, we tend to fish for one species of fish. So, you know, I love me bass, but I've got into me Murray cod and me yellow belly and that, but I don't do a lot of surf. I don't do a lot of, you know, saltwater stuff. I'm not outside chasing pelagics and stuff like that. So my issue is always so closed off that, oh, why don't you do another this style of rod? But you're catering for a much bigger need than you know. We can all sit here in our little glass houses and say, oh, you know, you should be doing this range of bass rods or you should be doing this range of cod rods. But no, it just doesn't happen that way because you're doing everything, as you said, from those big stuff with electric reels on them through to, you know, surf rods, through to trout and everything else.
Every single rod, like it comes through us and we critique it, we tune it, we do everything to it. And you're exactly right. Like I don't know everything, but I've learned a hell of a lot in the last 2 years, or working for Daiwa. It's been 3 years now, I think, pretty much nearly to the day. And just the amount of knowledge that you learn. Like I never knew what the difference between like a stick bait rod and a popping rod would be, but now like it's just stuff like that, like surf rods. Like I'm building a blackfish rod for a particular customer that he really thinks that it's needed in the market and stuff like that. So we're adding it to a range and everything. And it's just like I made a rod and I said, oh, like after the data and everything that I've kind of collected and the talking to him and stuff. And then he's just like, no, this is like, make it lighter again. Like this thing is just a noodle. And he's like, make the crappiest rod you can make, and that's a good blackfish rod. And just stuff like that. And now I know that it, like what a blackfish rod is and stuff like that, which I'd never normally know.
I don't know. Yeah.
And another massive thing was with me was, I guess, like I know what I personally like in a rod for bass. I'm a bass fisherman. I know what actions I want, what lengths I want. I know exactly what I want in a bass rod. But then also looking at it from another way, stripping that back and knowing what the market wants. So for what I want in a bass rod that I think would be the best bass rod in the world, it might only sell a handful, where if we did it like this, that appeals to the market. So you really need to take a step back and I guess look at it from a consumer point of view as well, instead of just a personal point of view. So that was a learning for me as well. And yeah, there was just a lot of things like that as well that you really need to take into account every aspect of it.
Now, I want to talk about that in a little bit of a segue into that. You're extremely tall. People that don't know you wouldn't see that on the camera. And Harry's bringing me a cake. Look at this. We'll leave that there. I'll look at that.
Hey.
Okay. I'll leave that later. Thanks, Harry. Well, yeah, you're an extremely tall individual, and what would suit you mightn't suit somebody else as well. Fishing rods, can you get as technical as fishing rods as you would with golf clubs? Like shaft lengths make a difference?
I don't know much about golf clubs, so I can't say, but I guess that's the whole point. You really can, like, but it is at the same time, you can get so technical with it, but you can get very general, but it's just, I don't know, like any rabbit hole you can go down with it is a viable option. And yeah, I guess you've got to, as from what I do, you need to kind of cut the clutter out to know, like, and we don't get it right every time. Like I definitely am not trying to say that, but I guess trying to cut it out to get the best potential out of what we're trying to give, I guess, is like you said, like I'm 6'5" and I like a rod over 7 foot like that. I don't really use anything under 7 foot, but then that won't appeal to a guy that's 5'8" or 5'9" or something like that, because if he wants to jerk bait, he won't be able to. He'll hit the water. He'll do all this type of stuff. So
that's where I was getting at with the length, I suppose, more than anything else.
Yeah, so there's heaps of that type of stuff. Yeah, there's just so many different things that you've got to take into account. So
awesome. I want to talk about. I want to come back to that because that's a subject that people are asking questions about. We'll come back to a couple of those questions, but I want to talk about the grand final last year, your big win. So that's. Am I right in saying that's your first big win?
Yeah. So I would say yes, 100%. That is my first ABT win. I've come close, bloody a couple of times at the Open, and they always seem to get me. But yeah, that's my first proper win. But you'd probably call it a half win, but I'm taking it as a full win. Bugger it, I'm happy. So
yeah, and I mean for an example, I suppose the video that you guys did up for the Oz Open at Somerset was a sensational video. That was really well done. For people that haven't seen that yet, jump onto Daiwa's YouTube page and have a look at the Open video, because that was a bit of an eye-opener. You got pipped at the post on that one. I think you and Tommy both fished very well in that one from memory, didn't you?
Yeah, we didn't go too bad. Tommy, I think, got from memory third, I think it was. And I got maybe sixth from memory, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I hadn't fished Somerset in months years, I should say. And it was a very different Somerset to what I was used to as well. So there was a lot of factors playing there. But yeah, if you want to check it out, we've got on our Daiwa YouTube channel, we've got it's called the Pursuit series. So I think now it's up to maybe 10 or something like that. And that's everything from brim, or everything brim and bass, I guess. And we're planning on doing the Clarence Open as well in a couple of weeks. So we'll be filming that one and getting another one of them out as well.
Excellent. You'll see my bare bum go through in the background somewhere.
Perfect.
I'm known for that one.
We'll get it in there.
I'm actually looking forward to the Clarence Open. It's going to be a good one.
I am too. I am really looking forward to it. I'm going to go there in a couple of weeks to do a pre-fish, and I'm really looking forward to it. So,
yeah, no, awesome. Now, going back to what we were saying before about you getting to where you've got in Daiwa, I've got I suppose a bit of a thing that a little bit of a thing that I do here with the Ambassadors program. We'll call it a little thing. It's a hell of a lot of work that I've put into this whole Ambassadors program. But I suppose you were one of the people why I started off the program. There's not a lot of opportunities within the fishing industry that come around and give you a bit of a lead in. Now, you started off, I've known you for many years now. You started off in the Bass-tastics. You were just a young kid that had his own boat, wanted to come, and you started to hang around with us old boys, and we might have led you up the wrong path for a few of the comps. But we did have a lot of fun and a lot of good times during those comps. But to see where you've grown from way back then, pretty sure you were still a Sparky's apprentice back then, doing your apprenticeship. But you've just always loved fishing. I can remember a comp, I think it was at Boondooma, you bloody forgot your shoes. It was -4 degrees. And if you were that keen that you went out without shoes or socks on and you stayed out there all day, you didn't whinge about it. I said, this kid's going to go a long way. And really you have. You've gone to the stage now where you've taken that opportunity. You've moved to Sydney. You moved away from all your friends. You really love fishing. But tell us a little bit about how hard that was.
Yeah, so I guess starting from the start, I like Corey said, I started at Basstastic. It was oh gosh, what are we now? 23. That would have been back in 16, maybe, was it? I think it was. Yeah. And it, I love them. Like, I was so nervous going into the Basstastic's the first couple of rounds. Like, I remember being on Barumba one time and seeing there was a Basstastic's on, and I was just casual fishing, and I remember seeing like all these big bass boats going past, and just this wide eye, just looking at them, being like, "That's cool." And then I thought, bugger, I'm going to go on one. I was fishing every weekend. I felt kind of obligated to go fishing every weekend with the boat and stuff like that. And I kind of plateaued a bit. So I got into the tournament scene, and that was probably one of the best things I ever did. I started doing those and met everybody. And then I guess from that, I guess my relationship with Daiwa now is that I started as a sponsored angler. So they saw potential in me. Back in the day, back in 2019, I think it was, they approached me and said, "Do you want to be a sponsored angler? Come on the team and stuff like that." And then I created a relationship over time with Tom and Brett and the boys at Daiwa, and then I'd been working as a Sparky for I don't know how many years, and then I kind of got over that a little bit, and then an opportunity come up, and I thought, bugger it, I'm going to go for it. So I applied for it. I went through interviews with Daiwa, and I was successful in getting it. And like you said, like, it was a big move. Like, moving to Sydney from Bundaberg, or from Sunshine Coast and previously Bundaberg, that's bloody big smoke. And I did a lot of work in Brisbane, and I hate Brisbane, and I don't know why Sydney appealed to me, but it did. And I thought I was starting to feel a bit flat living in the sunny coast, and I was over everything, and I thought, you know what, bugger it, we'll do it. So I moved down, and I really like Sydney. Sydney's really good. Working for Daiwa was really fun, and it's good because I can do my passion every day. Like, I can go into work. To the day from starting at Daiwa, I haven't woken up and been like, oh shit, I got to go to work today. Like, I haven't had that, and I always used to have that, being like, I can't be bothered going to work today, but I've genuinely not had that, and it's so refreshing to be able to do. And
something. They do say that when you find a job that you love, you'll never work another day in your life. But in general, what you did was you went from, small country boy, and I'm not being smart by saying that, but small country boy, you bit the bullet and you went and do it. I've seen over the last, since the show finished, about 8 or 9 different bigger fishing tackle companies advertise for staff and struggle to get staff to fill that void. And I think there's a real problem within the society. I'm not going to say the industry, but I'm going to say the society itself, through these people that just want to be social media warriors and go out there and post a photo and get paid for it, to actually working within the industry, because you're the living proof of what's out there. I mean, I've seen, Shimano, I've seen Bassman, I've seen, these companies. Who else was out? I think there was, might even been you guys advertising with somebody just recently. Yeah. And it's a perfect thing for people to jump in and do, but they don't want to do the work. I mean, what's your suggestion to these people to get them off their ass and actually apply for these jobs?
I think if you're passionate about it, like you said before, if you're passionate about something and you love something, you're never going to work a day in your life. don't get me wrong, there are still tough days. It's not going to be a breeze. But just to be doing it, I guess, looking at it, a lot of these jobs might be entry-level jobs, might be like service jobs or warehouse jobs or something like that. And especially, I guess I was very lucky coming from out of industry, being an electrician and going into a marketing role where I didn't have a uni degree. I didn't have any type of qualifications to do it. I just had ambition, I guess, passion, and I had a willingness to learn. I guess that was my biggest thing. Daiwa saw that in me. They saw the knowledge that I had outweighed the learnings that I needed. So, and I guess the biggest thing that I can say to anybody is that if you have the knowledge and the passion to do it, you'll go further than somebody that has a uni degree, I feel, because that's just how I've always felt with apprentices, teaching a lot of apprentices growing up as well. They might not be the smartest bloody book on the shelf, but if they've got the drive, they're going to be better. And yeah, I just think just do it. Like if you want to do it and you want to go down that path, just do it. It's a stepping stone. I guess a lot of the things is the foot in the door into the industry. Once you're in the industry, you're in the bubble, then you can expand from there. So if you can get into the industry, then I think do it and go for it.
Yeah, and don't be frightened to start at the bottom.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, don't be worried about starting and then working your way up, because that's where the ambition comes into it. That's where the passion comes into it, and people will notice that. So you will go far if you have those attributes.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. I'm going to do a postcode. I've got Harry here. He's going to come around and draw the postcode winner. He's sitting in the background pulling faces at me. Wait till you see him. Here he is. All right, Harry.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. You look like Cousin Hit.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Everyone's out there watching. They've been saying good day. I know you've been following in. Who's the postcode winner?
Tim Bruce. Do I say that one as well?
Yeah, you can say it.
Darryl Wank.
Darryl Wank. We're calling Darryl Wank.
2428.
2428. So it's Tim Bruce.
Tim Bruce.
All right. That's Tim Bruce. 2428. You won the Jig Pro thing, and you'll need to send me your address, but I will get that off you through Corey's Dam Fishing, please, Tim. So send that through. We're just got to make sure that comments keep coming up automatically. All right, we'll get you back out later on for the drawing of the prize winner. All right.
Cool.
All right. No shirt, no nothing. We can go.
The beard covering.
There you go. All right. So let's get into some questions, I suppose. We've as we were saying before that, if you've got the drive to be in the fishing industry, don't be frightened to start at the bottom. I know a lot of guys that are out there that actually started in the warehouse that are now, up really high in these companies. So give yourself a go. Oh, hey, Russell's on.
I saw that.
G'day, Russell. All right, just making sure I go through everyone that says hello. G'day, Bede. Good questions coming through. So let's start with a few questions. Kevin says, love the way you guys have developed and made it clear for the models for the in-feet range. So Kev's more a statement than a question.
Yeah, I'll elaborate a little bit on that. So our in-feet range was, I guess, developed as a specialty finesse light tackle rod. We do a lot of content on brim for it, but I use a lot of it for bass. I know guys use it for trout, anything in that finesse space. And what Kev is commenting on there is that we have like our red and blue in-feet. So that's fast action and slow action in-feeds, or regular taper in-feeds. So we've got the 3 series, the standard in-feet, the in-feet Z, the in-feet EX. So the 3 tiers of them. And then if you want a fast action rod, soft plastics, and stuff like that, you can use a red one. If you wanted a regular action rod for treble baits, crankbaits, anything like that, then you can use the blue one. So there's a few different sizes and weights and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks, Kev. That's good to get some feedback that it's working well.
Awesome. Christy, being a bass fisherman, do you change your reel bearings to ceramic for lighter lures?
No, I don't. I just run the stock standard ones. I am, I guess, working at Daiwa. I'm very grateful and very privileged to be able to use the best of the best. So I get to see a lot of the bait cast reels. It's hard to get a bait cast reel out of my hands. If I don't have to use a spin, I will not use a spin. But no, like a lot of our technology has come so far in our bait cast reels that you can throw, like a 2-3 gram lure with no issues at all. And you've got to know what you're doing, I guess, to an extent. But no, I just run the standard stuff.
Excellent. And I suppose that's one of the things that's always been the motto of my show is buy the best you can possibly afford, but you don't have to go out and buy $100,000 worth of stuff straight away. Just build your way towards it, and as you each year or whatever, go out and lash out with your tax return and buy the next model up, and slowly build yourself up.
That's right. Way. I guess adding to that a little bit, I used to use a lot of tatular reels, and I remember I was in Japan and I was in one of the tackle shops and I saw they had some replacement speed bearings and stuff like that. I think they were Hedgehog Studio bearings for the tatular reel, and I bought them, and I gave them a crack. And to be honest, I wasn't that flash on them, so I ended up forgetting which reel they were in because it didn't really do too much. So I think if you just have confidence, and if you can fine tune your reels, then you'll get what you want out of them.
Yeah, for sure. And it's all about practice makes perfect. All right, Paul said we're seeing more comps folding. Example AYC. What do you think would build the tournament scene in Oz to even a smaller proportion to see what's in America? I suppose I'll lead in with I'm actually not disappointed that some of the comps are dropping off. I would like to see the comps that we actually do have get bigger rather than having more and more comps. But what's your view on the question?
I could talk for a long time on this. There's so many.
Have a long time. That's the thing.
There's so many different ways you can look at it. Like I haven't heard that one before, Corey, and I can see that one. That your point there. I guess to be frank, the driving factor for everything is money. The money's not there, so the comps either fold, they can't do it, they don't get participation because the payouts aren't big enough, so on. So I think it's such a double-edged sword in every single avenue that you look down that if you up the entries, then like for more payouts, nobody's going to, or not many people are going to do it because they don't want to spend $1,000 on entries. We need to keep in mind that a lot of these tournaments in the States are $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 entries, and they're winning good money. But yeah, like that's one thing. The sponsors, there's just so many things that I think that kind of amalgamate up to being that. So
yeah, and I think we not used to talking. Keep coughing. The one thing that we don't do well enough in this country either is support the sponsors that are looking after the tournament scenes. Now, I know you guys kick in your major sponsors of tournaments here and there and everywhere. I know my guys are. I know other guys are, but it's very rare. But it does happen. But it's very rare that we actually. How many times would Dyer actually get an email from an angler that's won one of their products to thank them for their support? It doesn't happen enough. We don't look after it enough. I know Brad, we talk about this a lot with the boats. He's been doing boats for ABT for 15, 20 years. And he was surprised last year that Mario actually got a physical phone call through to him to thank him for the sponsorship and doing the boats and stuff like that. So, even for the bigger companies like yourselves that put in thousands and thousands of dollars, we don't really help out in that sense. We're all stuck in our own little bubbles. All right, that's my gripe. There we're done on that one. Nick Brown wants to know if your hair's grown back from Blue Rock yet.
No, still the same. I took it all off at Christmas to try and get a couple more Ks out of me, but something different.
I think he was talking about your feet.
What's that?
I think he was talking about your feet.
Oh, my feet. Oh, God. It is actually starting to come back, to tell you the truth. Yeah. It is nice though. I do feel it every now and again, and it's
So for everyone that hasn't been on my socials, at Blue Rock we had a little redfin comp while we were on pre-fish day, and the loser had to have wax strips, and Braden and Nick were both one of the wax strips. I'm so disappointed I didn't get, because it is Maddie's birthday every time we end up at Blue Rock for the double header, so we always do something silly, and this year we didn't get it on film, but the boys actually held him down and put about 30 beaten strips all over his body, and it was a bit of fun getting that off. But
they loaded him right up, didn't they? I feel, oof.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mad in that situation.
I'm looking forward to the Queensland doubleheader because we've changed it to Yellow Belly.
Yep.
So the Yellow Belly Cup will be happening on pre-fish day, and it's going to be those bloody stupid burn your ring out hot chips as the penalty. So yeah, that's Coney's fault. We'll blame Coney for that one. All right, keep going, getting to the questions. Barry's got a good one. Barry said, can you recommend a combo for surface, spoon and deep divers around 7 foot?
Yes. I would personally go like that. To me is more of a, I guess, an all-rounder. That's I guess the two that I'm seeing there that I would use the same rod for would be spoons and deep divers. Surface is a little bit more finicky to try and get a rod that would do all three of those, but I would go just like a generic medium action, a 7 foot medium. So we've got our TD0 range. So it's I think there's either a 701 MH, which might be on the heavier side of things, but there is a 722 MLXB, I think it is. Which I use as just a general purpose every single thing rod, and that throws surface, spoons, deep divers, everything like that. But yeah, just generally I'll do that. Like when I think of deep divers, I think of IK800, so I've got specific rods that I throw for them. But just for a standard, 8 to 12 foot diving bait, that'll easily get the job done. So I'd look at the TD0 range. That's probably your best bet for what we have for an offering that'll be able to do all those.
Yep, for sure. All right, Barry has that one. Christy, I think I called him Kirsty before. Christy, what percentage of female fishermen who work for or the face of Daiwa? Do you know where you're at with your
I have. We do have data, I guess, as an overall for like women in the industry and stuff like that. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but for us personally, we've got probably, I don't know a percentage, but out of the 40 to 45 that work there, I think we've got I think it's about 5 or 6 working for us. I think a lot of those women are upstairs in the office doing internal sales, finance, ordering, and stuff like that. On our sponsored anglers team, we've got 3, I think it is 3 or 4 women on the sponsored anglers team, and they go all the way from what's that, North Queensland all the way down to south of Sydney. What's that, near the border? So just down the east coast. So
yeah. Awesome. So you can look them up through. They'll be on all the dial products.
Yeah. So the sponsored anglers.
You got a team page. I haven't looked on your website.
Yeah. So if you go to the website, I'll get it up because I know we've got it there on the website. If you go up to the top left in the About section, it has a Meet the Team or Meet the Pro Team kind of part, and you can see all of our anglers, and they've got like little profiles and stuff like that. So you can peruse through and check everybody out and have a bit of a stalk and see what they're good at.
All right. there we go. And I suppose that's a good lead in. We'll use that to another announcement I've got tonight is we are back running the Allocrop Brand Ambassadors Apprentice Program this year. We will be doing another boats. This time the boat will be for the ladies. So later on this year we'll be doing a boat for the ladies, but you'll have to watch this space to find out what the boat is and what it's all about. But we've had quite a successful program with the juniors and the open. So looking forward to running the ladies program later on this year. So that'll be kind of cool to find an up and coming lady in the fishing industry to take out one of the boats and show us what she can do. All right, got another one here, Paul. Paul has said, wise man Crescito once told me that if you're on a budget, spend the money on a good rod and cheap out on the reel. My opinion is the other way around. What are your thoughts?
I always used to, my approach was just even them out. Like I wouldn't go and spend all my money on a good rod and then have a cheap reel, or I wouldn't go and spend all my money on a good reel and have a cheap rod. Growing up, I guess I used the warranties that were that were there with reels through BCF and stuff like that, and I'd go and buy $100 reel, and because I fished so much, it might clap out in a year, and then I'd go and just get it replaced or something like that. But to be honest, like that's a really hard one because again, I'm very privileged to be able to use a lot of high-end products. But see, I still find myself using that kind of that mid to low end gear, and I don't know. Like I always used to even it out. So I'd have a mid price rod or like the rod and reel would be on the same kind of level. Is the way that I used to approach it, because then I know I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds for what I could afford.
I can see a thought process behind that, and I have talked to people like Paul has said that the rod's the best thing. Don't worry about the reel, and I've had the other side of it. But I tend to have always been very similar in my view of what you're saying there is. As I said, I've always said buy the best you can possibly afford. Well, that would be reel and rod. Try and even them up, and if you need to step up, I've caught many a big fish on a cheap rod combo, and it's never let me down. So it's not necessarily the be all and end all to have the biggest, most expensive everything, is it?
No, that's exactly.
All right, Kyle has said. And I probably know the answer to this one because I was there. Or might be one of. What is one of your biggest boating stuff ups, fail, etc. on the water?
Well, I think I get thrown into the bucket of everybody else when they forget a bung. I've done that before, and I remember being out on the river in Bundaberg, and I had a mate with me, and and I remember seeing water coming up through the floor. And I just look at him, and he reckons that I was just about ready to grab a life jacket and jump over, and he's just like, just go back to the boat ramp. But I think I know what you're getting at, Corey. And my biggest bugger up was a grand final at Kenya Dam. I went really well in that grand final, and it was for Russell's Bass-Tastics. And I think it was the first session. I had some all right fish, and then so Russell uses blue silicon tubs. I pulled fish out of the. I still can remember it exactly what it is. I pulled a fish out of the live well. I had it up on the seat, put it in there, went and grabbed the second one out, put it in there as well. It scared the first one, and then it just shot straight out, and it was just like slow motion. I saw it just go out, and I saw it just sit in the water there, and of course you instinctively go and grab at it. It didn't work. And I was just gutted for the rest of the weekend. But then I ended up catching big bass, and I think it was like 56 fork or something, and I ended up still being up there. And I guess hindsight's a vicious thing, but yeah, what if I didn't lose a fish? And I remember you told me that's why you have the bucket on the ground.
Yep.
So that's why I have a bucket or a cull bag on the ground now. That would be my biggest bugger.
I'm pedantic at it, I really am, and I know that a lot of a lot of guys, my coes and comps when we're doing weigh-ins and that, and I'm telling her to get the fish into the footwell. Don't be, you know, especially for these photo catcher and release. You know what bass are like when you're trying to take a photo of them, they just flip everywhere, you know. And I'm always doing it in the footwell, down the bottom, in, you know, where they can't get out. And like you get your coes and they're taking the photos on the back deck, and I'm going, don't do it, put it, you know, do it in the footwell.
They will.
That's what it's there for.
They will. There's nothing greener than a 25 centimeter skull drag bass coming in, and you'll know about it by the end of the weekend because you've got a million holes in it if it's an APCOM in your hand.
Yep, for sure. Declan wants to know if you've got the smell out of the top of golf out of your boat.
I remember Hickson dropped it off in the morning. He said, I'll give it a wash. And he's like, I cleaned one of the hatches too because I spilled a whole tub of aqua juice in there. And I cleaned it and I gave it a vacuum and everything like that. I've had it airing out, but I can still put my head in the hatch and smell the bloody aqua juice. But one thing, it does smell better than gulp juice. So I'm happy about that. Oh, unless I haven't found the gulp juice yet.
Oh, the fun we have. All right, I'm going to get Harry to come out and he can draw the question for us because we're just about at the hour. That has gone so quickly and we've got lots of questions. Russell's got a really long one here, and I do want to cover it, being that Russell is a comp organizer. He wants to know your thoughts on prizes anglers win. A lot of anglers say that they've got rods and reels and sponsored that sort of thing, but winning a rod and reel online is not as good as cash.
I don't know. Like I'm very like to me with Russell's styles of tournaments. I think the guys are happy to win something. Like, don't get me wrong, cash is great, but I've still got in my boat one of the jump starters that I won at Russell's. Like it's lasted me. It's jump started many boats. Issues. Eskies, yeah, I've got eskies and everything like that. And to be honest, you're happy when you come away with a prize. I'm not. I don't know. Like I'm kind of impartial about that. Like cash is good, but I don't know. Like winning an esky, like I'm happy to win an esky. So,
and
I think good. So I think because you're still winning something, you've still got a sense of achievement there and something to show for it.
Yep, for sure. All right, Official wants to know, hey, Braden, do you chase Murray cod very often? No,
I have never, ever once thrown a lure for a Murray cod. I do want to change that.
Before the Blue Rock or Glen Maggie rounds, we should do a cod.
Yeah, like I've driven over those dams a couple of times going down to Victoria now, but I've never targeted them. I've never thrown a lure at them. I want to do it. I just haven't yet for some reason. Like I've said a few times now in winter, like I'm going to go up to Copeton or go up to one of those dams and have a crack, but I've just never gotten to it now. But now that they're full of water, it might be this winter. Who knows?
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, Harry, we better draw the winner of the. He's back. He's lost a beard.
He's had a real quick shave.
Who was the winner of the? We're not doing a prize wheel or anything this year. Harry's just going to draw the winner.
I like that, Declan.
Declan Betts. Wasn't really a question, but it was a statement. So Declan is the winner. So I'm pretty sure I know what the answer to that one will be. But Declan, you have got, what have we got here? We've got a Super Sleek pack and a Jig Pro pack there for you, Declan. You can, I will send you a message here through my Facebook account, Corey's Dam Fishing, and we'll get those prizes out to you as well. Anything you want to say to everyone?
There might be a spin wheel later in the.
We'll get something organised once the question goes. And for anyone that doesn't know, I used to look like this, six pack. Look at that. All that carrot cake you feed me. All right. Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Awesome. So, there's a couple other things in there I think I missed earlier. Somebody asked if any new diver stuff coming out somewhere along the way.
Yeah, so we're working on AFTA. We're in March now. AFTA's in August. So that's the Australian Fishing Tackle Association trade show on the Gold Coast, our big industry show. So we're really starting to put the pieces together for that now. We've finalised where our stand's going and stuff like that. But on a product side of things, like I was talking to Corey before the show, and we definitely do have new announcements coming. That is 100%. But I guess just finalising what those announcements are. On my side of things, we've got a lot of new rods coming, some big redevelopments, some new models to be added, and to supersede some really good and really popular rods within our range. So this after is going to be pretty big for us. I know we've got a lot of new spinning reels coming as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I can't let anything out just yet, but yeah, there definitely is big announcements coming.
I'm really hoping this year I've back all of my tournaments. As I said, I haven't done the COD Nationals. I'm only doing the ABT Bass rounds. I've backed off on everything else, just purely financially, because I want to do some other stuff through my channels and whatnot as well. And you just can't afford to be everywhere and doing everything. So it was a choice to do the ABTs. I'm going to do the Open in a few weeks' time, but I want to get to after and try and do some filming. Remember when Morgo and Drew used to do the filming and editing and do all the product releases and stuff like that? I want to try and get around and do a whole after thing, which obviously comes out of my pocket, so I've got to get to the Queensland, but Bonza's opened up now, so it might be more affordable. I can get up to Queensland reasonably cheap and go through and come into after and talk to all of you boys and do some interviews and stuff like that, and really do that side of it that nobody's really doing at the moment.
Yeah. After's really cool. Like I've been to a couple now, and it's very kind of eye-opening, just like the size of it. All the major players are there, and it's really cool just to walk around and look at everything. And another really beneficial side of things that I found was that you might not, like, your local tackle shop might not have the range of rods or reels or tackle that everybody offers. But if you go to the show, you can look at every rod, or 80% of the rods that we have, they're all there. So if you're not sure about something, or you didn't know about a series exists, or you didn't know a reel was there, or we had lures, then you can go and look at it all and be like, oh, like I like this one, or this is a cool idea. And then you can talk to your local tackle shop and get them in. And that was one of the beneficial things I found in it, is that just I guess the vision, the overall vision of all products was just really cool.
Yeah, because we don't have mega shops in Australia, and that's understandable that you've got to make money, but your local tackle shop that might be looking after you in your little thingo, he mightn't be able to buy a full range of dial rods. So, if you can go to after, have a look at it, go on what do they call it, social day, have a look at all the stuff, and you can still go back and he can order it for you. But you've had it in your hand, haven't you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can do orders through your store, and then we can get individual rods sent out, and that's no issue at all. Also, just adding to that, if you have kids and you are in the area, feel free to come to after. We do have, we've got our DYFC, so our Dial Young Fishing Club, and that's so that's really to help, I guess, to help not only kids get into fishing, but also, I guess, that's a really good push for parents to be able to get into fishing as well. So, like some parents or some kids might ask, oh, let's go fishing, but the parents are not fully there, or not know exactly what to do. And it's a really good platform to be able to get out there and give it a crack. So we have memberships where you can go and you get brag mats and hats and stuff like that. And we have a full DYFC app, and we're actually doing our annual tournament as well, DYFC tournament. So it's not about catching the biggest fish. There's a few different I guess tiers of it all, and there's a wide variety of species that you can target. There's I think another one is like waterway warriors or something like that, where you can go and you can do something good for your local waterway, and then you can win prizes doing that. So it goes for a full month, and so we have a DYFC stand at the or a section in our standard after, where you can come and paint lures. Like last year was lure painting. We had big cutouts of fish that you could get pictures of and stuff like that, just really to try and engage the younger audience, and that was a really, really popular little pastime for the kids. So
awesome. That's really cool and really good. As I said, Harry, we put Harry into that straight away, and it's good to see companies. And this is part and parcel, I suppose, to a question that was earlier on in the night about sponsoring tournaments and why tournaments can't be as big as this and that and the other thing. Well, we don't have any feeder, we don't have any youth programs, we don't have any, unis in school, school courses and that on fishing. So it's good to see a company like Dial get out there and try and promote, because there's a lot of parents out there that would probably love to take their kids fishing but don't know how to, or can't afford to, or whatever the situation is. I was reading an article, I think it was on the Team Jacobson supporters page, that somebody wrote about Carl and, where he started and whatnot, and his mum couldn't afford to take him, and, he was grabbing rides with people and whatnot. So, hard work's paid off for him, but there are avenues, and if you grab them by the balls and go hard at them, you've got the opportunities are there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I guess adding to that as well, Corey, that when I was back in Bundaberg over Christmas, I saw a young fella just fishing off a pier. I was fishing in the river, and I just gave him a pack of lures and stuff like that, and he was just absolutely blown away. Like, he couldn't fathom that. So I think that is, even just on its own, just stuff like that. That is the push that is, getting a young angler into the industry or into the sport, and pushing his parents to be able to do stuff and see that he really likes it and stuff like that. So I guess that's another really big thing that I really like to do, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of that, is just giving little things out.
I do, for sure. I have a little box of giveaways in my boat that lives in my boat that I give away when I can. If I see somebody there, I've got hats, I've got shirts, I've got lures, I've got everything in there. And if I see somebody, we did it at Mulwala last year for the team's Australia fishing comp. We had the whole bluefin fishing team. We walked along the bank of Mulwala giving away lures. We gave away thousands of dollars worth of lures along the bank, and it was unreal. But you're still, in modern days, you've still got to be careful in giving stuff away, making sure that their parents are there and stuff like that, because we could have a couple of bad responses, but that happens.
That does happen.
But yeah, like, we do it and always have done ever since I was at Moondooma as a caravan park manager, when we used to drive down and do all the Queensland ones. When we stopped at the service station, everyone looks at the boats, the big flashy boats. We hand out hats and stuff like that, convoy of people. I did it on the way down to Blue Rock, go Blues away to kids in the park and whatnot. So it is about a giving back as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And a pack of plastics or a lure here and there isn't much to us, but it's everything to somebody else. So no small gift like that is too little, I find.
No, and that's what a lot of this product that I give away on the show is all stuff that I've won in comps. I just put it aside and do it that way, and I'd rather give it away to somebody who wants it than sell it. I see really cool one this morning on Facebook. One of your boys was giving away all his old rods.
Yeah, Phelpsy. Yeah. He's
Phelpsy, that's it.
Yeah. He went and did a cleanup through his boat, and he found a few rods that he doesn't use anymore, and he's just put it out there. If anybody wants them, just go to his house and grab them, pretty much. So
how cool is that?
Yeah. It all helps, that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's we sort of get to an hour. So we've got one last question. Come in. Here we go. Speed. Is there a fair way to the non-boaters to get to fish with the top 15 in a comp? Oh, you got paired. Yeah, that's just, I can't read that here. So is there a fair way for non-boaters to get the top 15 in the comp? He wanted to learn from the 2 Victorian rounds, but got paired with 4 people doing their first bass rounds. If it wasn't a pre-fish, I wouldn't have learned anything. Well, I hope you learned something on P-Fish, mate, because I took him out. So.
Well, he learnt more than me on pre-fish.
Yeah.
That's a really tough one. Like you really need to keep it impartial. You really need to keep it as a name out of a hat thing, because then that's when things get a bit sticky and a bit bad. But not really. I don't see an easy fix to that at all. I think, unfortunately, it's the luck of the draw.
I think that was just a bad draw. I didn't realise that all 4 of his boaters were first timers, but I mean, it doesn't mean that they're useless either. Just
that's right.
So.
It's exactly right. But also on the upside there, that's really good to see new guys coming in and giving it a crack. So
yeah.
I mean, you take the good with the bad. You can have a really good year with really good non-boater picks, with really good picks for boaters. Sorry, but also you've got to be prepared to take the ones that are new to the sport or might not know the waterway very well, and stuff like that.
The standing argument on this one as well is if you get the really good guys, they'll take you to the fish, but they won't give you the opportunity to catch them.
Yeah, it is a very double-edged sword in that sense.
There you go, Declan. Yeah, it was my 5th comp. All right, so that's all cool. I think we're going to call it a night. I'll try and run it for an hour, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, I would just say that was unlucky. Braden, thank you very much for coming on again. We'll get you back on later in the year. We'll talk about after and whatnot. Hopefully with an Australian Open win to go with your grand final. That'd be really cool.
Yep. Yeah, no, that'd be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on the first one of the 5th season.
That's it.
It's been really good.
And don't forget, what have we got? Tim Bruce, 2428 was your postcode. Get a hold of me through Corey Stam Fishing and Declan Betts as well. You get a hold of me through Corey Stam Fishing, and I will send those prizes out tomorrow. As for everyone, that's an hour, and I'm going to call it a night. I'll be back on next week. As I said, I'll try and talk to somebody from the COD Nationals, and we'll see how we go. All right, out for now.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.